It's too late. It's already lifeless. I'm waiting for the bits to go on. See, here's the thing that I don't like about doing it this new way is I can't tell if we're actually live. I'm just waiting.
That's unnerving.
I'm just
It's
waiting.
a rather important thing to be
It'd
able
be
to know.
nice to know if you're live or not.
It says that we're live. Do we trust it? Should we trust it? All right.
It's true. It's live.
Is it live? All right. Oh, yeah, there we go.
I heard, although there's no video.
And we're live. Oh, wait, that's the wrong boom. Here we go. Do you see any video on your side, Lewis?
Now I see video.
Nice. Okay, was it just the one moment?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay,
It's hard to tell. You got the delay, so I don't know. We're talking seconds. So
Okay, that's fine. We got Vedran Blazovanok. Oh, there's a name that I like. Let me try to say that again. Vedran Blazanovic. Now that's
how
a
many
name right there.
consonants do we have in there?
Vedran Blazanovic. That sounds like the bad guy in like a James Bond movie, don't you think? Yeah.
Blade Runner. It's like dangerously close to Blade Runner.
Vedran, Blade Runner. Okay, I'll allow it. Welcome, Vedran. Oh,
Vedran.
Serbia. Serbian. That's Serbian. That's why I like it so much. I love it. Okay, let's see here. I think we're ready to go live. And by that, I mean we're already live, but we should start doing the show. Don't y'all think? I think we got
Bold
everyone
idea.
here.
If only I had a tweet.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Part 2. Just when
The
you
sequel.
just when you thought there was no more room for boom, Vedran Blazanovic. He's mad and he's got more boom for you. We got Vaughn Smith. We live. Good. Dude, I love that we have you here from Serbia, Vedran. This is your first time here, isn't it? I don't recognize your name. And believe me, I would remember Vedran Blazanovic. I think we're ready to...
every single audience member who goes in our chat.
I never forget a name. I never forget a handle. Some handles I do forget, actually. All right, well, it's a very special Thanksgiving show. We probably won't get a huge audience here because everyone's doing holiday stuff, so I think we should just go ahead and roll and get this thing rolling. Yep. Oh, my... Vedran has been listening since episode 1. Unbelievable. And you're just here for the first time. I love it. Welcome. We got Brad Pepper. I can't say those words. Not yet.
Okay, we have a lot of people who say that they've been listening since episode 1. And I'm
We
sure
have
a lot of people say that. And,
we have a lot of people who
I don't know
have
how
been.
popular the first episode was. I wasn't there, but...
Dude, I mean, it was like number 4 or somewhere in the top 10 of top released podcasts for like the first few weeks. So there was a lot of people. Where's LK, Lewis? Well, not in this ethereal plane. We know that much.
Cult of Mac headquarters. He's
No,
searching for more Black Friday deals. He's got the Black Friday fever.
He's definitely got the fever. That's what happens when you search through a dumpster all day.
That's the only thing that's better than a Black Friday deal is something you pick out of the trash.
Here's a great Black Friday deal. These AirPods Max that only have a little bit of mold on them that I got for free.
When you're LK, every day is Black Friday. He spends every day in that dumpster out there, you know? Let's see here. Okay. Still missing Buster Heine, says Betty. Yeah, me too. You know, we can have Buster back on. He actually pinged me not long ago and said he had a brand new mic that he wanted to test out. He would be totally down to come on the show. I don't know if he could do it in the middle of the day.
The mystery is solved.
Yeah. The problem is internet, because when you live in a box in the desert, it's hard to get internet access. He literally did a show from a McDonald's parking lot. Didn't work that well, surprisingly. Okay. I think we should just go ahead and roll. I got to be out of here in less than an hour now. Well, actually, you know what? I might be able to bump that with a few well-placed texts, but let's see here. Let me go ahead and queue up Mrs. You-Know-Who. Oh, of course, someone's texting me right ahead of when we go live. How rude. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Mrs. D. Oh, my darling, happy Thanksgiving. You have a big party planned? Oh, yes. And some very special dessert planned. Oh, really? Oh, yes. A very special love-making session with El Katie. Oh, God. That's the dessert she had in mind, Lewis. Oh, Lewis, you're in the same area. Maybe you could swing by for dessert. Oh,
That
I
sounds
like that
awesome.
very much. Dessert for 3.
Ugh. God.
She took that too far. I
Way to
apologize.
start
on
the podcast every
Mrs.
week.
D's behalf. Yeah, that was inappropriate. Mrs. D, if you don't mind, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. We have some exhilarating Apple stories to talk about this week. We actually do have some good stuff. And we'll talk about some Black Friday deals, and we'll wrap up with an all-new under review where I have a simple product that's easy to buy, easy on the wallet, but it's life-changing, if I do say so myself. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling in 3, 2. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Jeff Lash. Join me today. Before Thanksgiving dinner, he likes to build up his appetite by practicing the Cult of Mac escaped writer drill, where he has to grab his blow darts, his Bowie knife, camo gear, face paint, and then make it to the ATV in less than 2 minutes. Do those drills a few times, you'll have quite an appetite. He's the managing editor of Cult of Mac. Oh, Lewis Wallace is here.
I should set up a special Apple Watch workout for that.
Yeah, it's great for burning calories. Also with us, unlike the other Cult of Mac writers, he'll be enjoying Thanksgiving with his family and friends, nice and cozy. But next year, if Lewis has anything to do with it, he'll be in that writer cage, eating the leftover Thanksgiving slop like the rest of the writers. He's a writer. Griffin Jones is here.
Good evening. I have a quick question for you, Airphone, just to
Please.
check in
Yeah.
as this ongoing story develops. Have you bought a computer?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Mm.
I can't. The way it worked out, if I do end up, you mean, did I buy a MacBook Pro?
Mm-hmm.
Because I actually did buy a computer, but it's not for me. I got a great deal on the M2 MacBook Air, which is the best deal, Black Friday deal that I've seen so far. I got a base model MacBook Air M2, which Apple sells for $10.99. I got it for $7.99. So that was a good deal. The MacBook Pro, if I decide to get one, I can't get it until the new year. So I've got some time to make up my mind. But I'm definitely on the hunt for some other Black Friday deals, which I don't think we have time to dive into too much, but maybe we could touch on some of like the big ones that I've seen. And I know, Griffin, you're looking for some stuff. But before we do anything, oh my goodness, did I forget to boot this up? Hold on a second. Let me
Oh,
see.
jeez.
Well, I had to restart. We were having some technical difficulties. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's see if this works. Boom! There it is. I want to thank Notion for supporting this episode. And, whenever I talk about Notion, I talk about how I use it. And, of course, Notion is your note-taking repository. It's like a supercharged version of Apple Notes. It combines your notes, documents, projects all together in one beautiful space. Navigating it is super easy, and they have a really powerful AI engine built in. I always talk about how I use it to write text for me because it has generative AI text and a generative AI text engine built in, and you can use it to shorten a block of text, to lengthen a block of text, to write bullet points for you on topics for ideas and stuff. But it's also really powerful for teams. Like if you build your wiki inside of Notion, then you can ask Notion questions about business questions, things that your team has rules about in the wiki, and it will deliver you answers from your 1,000-page wiki in mere moments. And so you don't have to ask your coworkers what to do. It will just deliver those answers to you. So if you want to use it by yourself, it's incredibly powerful for that purpose. But if you want to use it with your team, it's even more powerful. Notion AI can now give you instant answers to your questions using information across your wiki, projects, docs, and meeting notes. So it makes it easy to find all that stuff. If you want, you can try Notion AI for free when you go to notionai.com/cultcast. That's all lowercase letters, notion.com/cultcast to try the powerful, easy-to-use Notion AI today. And when you use our link, you're, of course, supporting our show, which we appreciate, at notion.com/cultcast. And if you do any writing, definitely check it out because it will save you an immense amount of time. That's why I'm using Notion as a supercharged Apple Notes replacement. And it's multi-platform, which I also appreciate and love. Because you know what, Griffin? We can't all be Apple only like you are. Sometimes you got to go on a Next machine or on a Windows machine and do your work there. You know what I'm saying?
It's one of the great tragedies of life.
Having to go on Windows. You know what, man? I give Windows a lot of crap, but I secretly actually really love Windows. It's not perfect, but there is something about building your own PC and putting a bunch of RGB lights in it and having those lights illuminate while you're gaming that you just can't get on a Mac. I mean, there's like, it's like a whole
And I'm glad you
culture.
can't get that on the Mac.
If you could, though, I'd pay a little extra for that. If the MacBook Pro had like RGB, like an RGB keyboard, and it was like $100 option, are you in on that with me, or is it just me?
No. I'm sorry. I don't think you want anybody vomiting live on the show. That I don't know if that would make for good podcasting.
It's
so
mesmerizing.
we should move on.
So beautiful. All right. Well, look, I want to wish everyone in the U.S. who is celebrating Thanksgiving a very, very merry gobble gobble yo. It's one of my favorite times of year, and not just because I get invited to Tim Cook's personal Thanksgiving feast where he wears the Kiss the Cook apron. Eddie Q's there, being mischievous, shooting people with spitballs. It's a great time. It's a very small gathering. LK's there, and we have a wonderful time, and no one makes better pumpkin pies than Tim Cook, of course. But also after Thanksgiving, we get Black Friday, and I was commenting to the fellas here, like, this has been one of the worst Black Fridays I've seen in a long time. There's like nothing really good. I'm just curious, for those of you in the chat, have you found any really good deals that you thought were worth buying? Like, the two things that I've seen where we actually have been getting substantial discounts is Xbox Series X consoles and actually PlayStation 5. I feel like for the first time since it launched, we're actually seeing it. I mean, for one, it's available. And then second, they're actually discounting it and throwing in free games and stuff. I was looking for hard drives. I know you're looking for hard drives too, Griffin. Nothing. Barren wasteland.
I'm going to solicit the help of our audience now that I think about it. I'm looking for a series of 4 8 terabyte 7200 RPM hard drives for something that will show up on Cult of Mac in a future article or review of some kind. I saw Adorama for a while was selling them, I think by Western Digital. They had a deal for $108, which is a pretty good price each. But then a few days later, they raised the price again. So like,
that's how it goes, man.
It's not how Black Friday works. So if anybody can find them, I don't know, I think under $100, that'd be a really great price. Send me your links.
Like I said, it's hard to get a discount on the smaller hard drives. They don't usually discount them. It's the 20 gig or the 20 gig, the 20 terabyte hard drives, and even the 18 that will get discounted right now. But how much do you want to spend per hard drive?
I mean, they have them right now for $136, which is good. But I think like under $100, that'd be like, that's an instant buy right there.
Okay, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for you guys, and I did get a copy of Mario's. Oh God, I'm forgetting the name of it. I want to say Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Wonder.
Super Mario Wonder. Thank you. I got that for $30. I thought that was a pretty solid deal. If you sign up as a new QVC member, you can get that game for $30. And I'll just plug the website that I use. Like, I hate to give them so much free press, but dude, I do get so much use out of them. Slickdeals.com. Slickdeals.com is the website that I use to find a lot of these deals, man. And it's a crowdsourced deal website, and they have categories, every category that you can think of: computers, video games, cameras, And a lot of the best deals, usually the best deals always pop up here, but you got to act fast because the best deals go quick. So if you're looking for a really great deal this Black Friday on something specific, I would check out Slick Deals. And the nice thing is you can set an alert. Like you can have it alert you if the keyword PlayStation 5 is used in a deal and it gets like 100 thumbs up, then you know it's a really good deal, and they'll send you a notification on your phone that a deal has gone live and it's gotten popular, and that's usually how I find all the best deals. 'Cause otherwise, how else do you know? Everyone's got Black Friday deals and articles and stuff. I got Super Mario Wonder. It's the new Mario game. I haven't played it yet, but I heard it was outstanding, and I got it from QVC. Aren't they like a home shopping network? I think they are. I don't have TVs. I don't know anymore. But I got it from them for starting a new account, and I got the game for $30, which is, half price. That's a great deal, especially on a new Nintendo game, a new Mario game. That game won't be on sale for $30 for like 5 years. So it's a pretty good deal. Okay, well, look. We should probably dive into some Apple stories here, right? Because we actually don't have that much time. And there haven't really been that many great Black Friday deals to come by, but I'll be tracking stuff closely. I mean, it's not Black Friday yet, although I think a lot of the deals are already live. All right, let's see here. We're going to talk about iPads first. So you probably already know this. I don't even know if anyone cares, but I'm going to tell you anyway, just as a heads up. If you're looking for a new iPad, we know that the iPad Pros are going to be updated with OLED fairly soon because there's been a ton of rumors about it. And I think that we're probably going to get those in the first quarter of 2024. Correct me if I'm wrong about those dates, but I think that was Ming Chi Kuo that said that. But you don't want to shell out the money for an iPad Pro, let's say, because let's be honest, like who actually needs an iPad that powerful? Well, if you don't mind waiting a while, and it will be a while, it appears as though OLED is also coming to iPad Air and iPad Mini, which I actually find hard to believe. Like an OLED screen? That's a very premium screen experience coming to iPad Air and iPad Mini. But apparently that is what's going to happen on Friday. There's a Korean language site called ET News, and they reported that both the iPad Air and the iPad Mini will be upgraded to OLED. I find that hard to believe. But they say it apparently won't happen until 2026. So can you make that iPad Mini last another 2+ years if you want to get that OLED? I don't know. iPads last forever. And I'm still using mine from 2018. And I'm trying to convince myself that I need a new one. But I feel like it still works exactly like it did when I got it. Like I don't really do anything on it but web stuff. And if that's all you do on your iPad, then they kind of last forever. Looks like you're about to say something clever, Lewis. What's that?
I was just going to say, I got an iPad 4 released in 2012. Still works
Do you really?
great. Use it every week.
Isn't that the iPad HD? Isn't that what they called that one?
I don't know.
I think it is. What it's called. I think that is the iPad HD.
I think it was the first one that I think it was the first iPad that our household ever had. I bought it for the wife. And, and of course, several generations later, she finally let me have the old one. But I use it every week for darts.
What a gal.
Believe it or not, the battery's still great. Lasts for hours. And what?
No, you go ahead. It's really interrupting.
It actually works better than the battery works better than the iPad Pro I have. That's not nearly as old, but I think that's because I had bad charging on the iPad Pro.
Bad charging habits?
Kept it charging all the time. I'm such a moron.
Oh, yeah, that's the battery killer right there. I'm still using 2 iPad 2s. And that's what I'm letting my kids use. Yeah, they have 2 iPad 2s. They're terrible, man. They are truly awful at this point.
Nice
It takes forever to do anything. Nothing ever wants to load.
Lots of apps aren't available.
Most apps are not available, but my kids don't care. They don't even notice that it's slow. And every once in a while, they'll come out to me and they'll be like, "This app just stopped working." So I have to double click the home button, right, and quit the app. That's actually the only reason why I want new ones, is because my kids are always bugging me about how their iPad is frozen. And I'm so tired of having to fix it for them that I almost want to buy a new iPad just for that reason. But my wife keeps trying to convince me we don't need another one. Let's see here. Betty Rice from the chat. I have the iPad Pro M1. I run Morpholio, PDF Expert, SketchUp. I can remote access my Windows computer What a gal. Remote accessing her Windows machine from her iPad. I do the same thing, and I'm truly impressed that you like to do that. It's a beast, and I feel like there's no reason for me to upgrade right now. Yeah, and M1 especially. Dude, I mean, talk about overkill. That's the problem with the iPad Pros. That's why I'm excited for the next generation iPad Air, especially if that rumor's true and they make a 12.9-inch version of it. I'm truly tempted by that, to have like a large regular iPad that isn't super overcharged and way overkill for anything that I would need to do on it. All right, well, let's move on because we got a lot of stories in here. I don't know if we're gonna make it through all this stuff. All right, let's move to something that I hope people care about, Griffin. I truly do, but I'm not convinced. Let's see if you can spin this into an interesting story. No pressure.
Sure. This was just reported on today by Rajesh. EU's proposed right to repair law incentivizes repairs, bans parts pairing. The European Parliament has voted to approve a strong right to repair law that requires companies to offer replacement devices to users during the repair period. That'd be a pretty dramatic change. If a product cannot be repaired, the user will be provided a refurbished product as a replacement. Additionally, manufacturers will have to provide an additional year of guarantee on the fixed device. The European Union's right to repair legislation states companies must also offer repair services for products outside of the warranty period. It wants manufacturers to make repairs a more attractive option instead of getting a replacement product. It wants to ensure that independent repair shops can access all repair components, tools, and guides at a fair price. This should make repairs much more affordable while ensuring the OEM doesn't have a monopoly over it. That alone would be a pretty great piece of legislation, ensuring that companies are incentivized to make the devices more repairable, ensuring they're more consumer friendly, and that you're not caught between a rock and a hard place with a broken device that you can't afford to be out with for over a week as it's getting repaired. But here's the real kicker. More importantly, as iFixit notes, the EU's draft law prevents parts pairing. Apple notoriously uses this software block to discourage iPhone users from getting their devices repaired by third-party shops. This is important because we've been talking for a while about how Apple's been making changes to how they build the iPhones over the last few years. Like the iPhone 14, it can be opened up from either the front plate or the back plate, so that repairs are much easier to do. There's the separate EU law that's saying that batteries have to be, easily replaced by, just basic parts without any glue or anything like that. But the problem is that although the devices are getting easier to operate on, Apple software locks all of these special chips. Inside the Mac, for example, you can't replace your own, you can't upgrade your own storage, not only because they're soldered onto the motherboard, but also because you put in a replacement storage chip in there and it won't work because it's software locked. Or you can't replace the Face ID sensor in your iPhone because it's software locked, and you need to go through this convoluted process of calling Apple to allow them to unlock the Face ID component in your new device. And even that mess is a recent addition. All of these parts are impossible to get working again even after you replace them because they're software locked. But this law would prohibit that practice entirely. And the story ends. The draft legislation still needs to go through negotiations between the Parliament and the Council before it can go into effect. But I think this is the obvious next step in terms of right to repair. And I'm rooting for this.
I got to be honest, man. I don't know how I feel about right to repair. I mean, it's not because I don't want people to be able to repair their stuff. But every experience I've had with a third-party repair person has been truly terrible. Apple products are so complex, and most of the repair people that I have dealt with, at least in the Seattle area, are so unbelievably incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. I've had instances where they actually made the problem worse, and then I had to take it to Apple anyway. And I see this from Apple's perspective, especially if the item's under warranty. First of all, I think that I think Apple should be allowed to say if you don't have your phone repaired by an authorized repair shop, your warranty is void. Because why should Apple have to deal with problems caused by buffoons? But outside of that, it's a branding issue because if you get your phone repaired, you sell it to somebody else, someone starts having a lot of problems with it, and they think that Apple products suck. And the problem was actually that you cheaped out. You got it. You took it to some back alley shop who didn't know what they were doing, which I think is quite common. And now they had a bad experience with an Apple product, so now they don't want to buy Apple products. And the problem was not Apple. The problem was the repair shop. I'm like, and I think most people don't really care about fixing their item. Like they'll just take it to Apple or something. So I do think that this is good. I think it's good to have options, but I can definitely see Apple's side of this. And I wouldn't mess with any repair shop that isn't Apple, that isn't blessed by the hands of TC himself. It just sounds really dangerous because you're working on something with electrical components that's very complex, and most people don't take the time to become experts in those kinds of repairs. I think that's rather rare unless you're Apple. And a lot of people just want to make a quick buck, and so they'll promise you things, but then you'll get your phone repaired, and then all of a sudden your touchscreen doesn't work right, which literally happened to me. And so you end up with problems. I don't know.
My quick counterpoint to that might be that those third-party shops that you went to might have been poor quality because they didn't have access to the same parts and the same tools that Apple uses, whereas these new laws that have just recently gone into effect are going to change that over time.
I think that's probably true in some cases, but I also think that there's probably a lot of people who are just not very talented at what they do, and they don't have a passion to learn it very well. They just want to churn and burn, and it takes probably quite a long time to develop. It's like being a car mechanic, right? Like it takes a while to develop that skill set, and I don't think a lot of people take the time to do that. And there's no school to train you on how to be a Apple iPhone repair person. Like if you were going to repair stuff for BMW, you would have to go to, I'm going to guess, their mechanic school or specialize in they probably have like training programs just for BMWs. I don't know. And I also just wonder, like, I know that there are people who are very passionate about right to repair, and I think that's great. I mean, I don't want things to be thrown away either when they break. But I also don't like the idea of a bureaucrat who has no tech experience telling Apple how to build their phones. And now you're going to end up with an inferior product because some government agency told Apple they couldn't glue this stuff together. I don't know. Is gluing stuff together bad? I mean, it seems like it's bad for repairs, but what if it increases the durability of your product by 300% or something crazy, right? So now you have a less durable product that's more prone to breaking because they want the fix to be something that is more approachable by people who are not trained to fix phones. So I'm kind of two minds on this. And for me personally, I would never take my phone. Again, I've had bad experiences, admittedly. But after the experiences I've had, I would never take my device to anyone other than Apple themselves, because I just know that if they fix it, it's actually going to get fixed and it will be still be under warranty. Any thoughts there, Lewis? You look like you're lost in thought.
Well, it's just, I mean, that's all well and good. I mean, I live in San Francisco. I can take my iPhone to 4 or 5 stores within 10 minutes drive, right? What if you live 200 miles from the nearest Apple store?
Yeah, what do those people do? Do they just ship it to Apple?
I don't know. Never lived 200 miles from the nearest Apple store. But I don't know. I mean, I bet you can ship it to Apple, huh? I've actually never discussed it. I have no idea.
I used to live a long way from an Apple store, and I actually still do. My solution was to just deal with a broken device until I could make a day trip out of going to the Apple store. Convince a parameter to drive me all the way up to Cleveland or Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I would
like. The Mac Mini over my shoulder was like broken. It had like a CD stuck in its optical drive, and it wouldn't boot correctly for like a year, and I just had to deal with not having the Mac Mini for a while.
Huh.
Yeah, so I mean, at least you can make an appointment and take it in, and I don't know, spend the night in the city and pick it up the next day. Usually, right? I mean,
yeah,
they are. I mean, I actually had something repaired overnight. Actually, it wasn't even overnight. It was like in 5 hours or something at a store in Barcelona one time. My iPhone touchscreen crapped out, and it was actually amazing. I mean, I called them. I said, hey, I'm gonna, because I wasn't in Barcelona at the time. We were heading there, and I made an appointment, showed up, dropped it off. I can't remember. I can't remember if I got it back the same day or it might have been the next day. It was less than 24 hours. It was very impressive, and it was like everything else that Apple does. It was very well handled, just seamless, flawless. They looked at it like, yep, sure. Yeah, you plug it in, diagnosed it on the spot. Yeah, sure enough, you've got whatever this problem is, and we'll get a new screen on there, and we'll get right back to you. So, I mean, that's kind of hard to beat.
Apple has good customer service. When the story goes, my phone broke its touchscreen when I was in a different country, and it was amazing.
I mean, it's
any
true,
other
but it's
other
true.
phone that would not be true.
It's absolutely true. I mean, and it was a real, like, I was contemplating, like, oh my God, because I had to go for a couple days. Like I said, I wasn't in Barcelona right then. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I mean, how do you get by without a phone? Because everything you do, right? Like, how do you get to a place? You find it on your phone. How do you translate what somebody's saying that you don't understand with your phone? It's such an essential part of traveling. It's just, I mean, I don't know. How do people travel before the iPhone? I know
Dude,
it used to happen.
I used to carry like a map with me.
Maps looked like.
Yeah. Literally carried a map with
and,
me, and you're like trying to figure out like how to orient it and be like, is this the right road? Like, what direction do we head?
Yeah, I guess you probably spent a lot more time talking to the concierge at the hotel or the night clerk. Hey, what's the nearest bar? What's the nearest place where I can go and get something to eat without getting stabbed?
I'm getting stabbed. That's definitely important.
You got to have priorities. Good food, not getting stabbed.
I would put the not getting stabbed part at the top, but that's just me.
Depends on how good the food is.
That's a good point. Let's see here. We should talk about this giveaway real fast here, Lewis. But before we do, I almost completely forgot, and I don't want to forget.
Oh dear heavens!
That we need to thank Squarespace for supporting this episode as well. It's almost 2024, Lewis. Are you ready to get your life in order? Are you ready to finally quit?
It is about time.
Are you ready to finally quit being a slacker, as Strickland would say? And high five to anyone who gets that reference. So I've been talking about Squarespace forever. I use Squarespace. I pay them for the service every single month because I just like to use it. It works so well. I have cultcloth.co hosted on Squarespace because it's set it and forget it. I just don't ever have to do anything with my Squarespace website. The whole thing runs seamlessly. It never goes down. I'm sure it does go down occasionally, but I've literally never seen it happen. And it's able to handle the hundreds of thousands of orders I receive every day for CultCloth. And it never has a hiccup. It just works the way I need it to. It's reliable. It's very versatile. When you get a Squarespace website, you can use it for all sorts of things. Now, I use it for managing my business and selling physical products. You could also sell digital products. You could create a membership website and charge people to be a part of your club. And you could also use it just to promote your business. One of the things I always tell people is if you want to create a really cool one-page, impactful, like personal website presence, you can use, went to the wrong page. You can have a really large image or a really large video in the background with some bullet points about what you're good at. And I think something like that is something that would get you ahead of the curve with employers, because LinkedIn's great, but everyone's LinkedIn looks the same. But if they go to a website and they can see a picture of you there or a video of what you do or something that personalizes you so you're not just a LinkedIn profile or resume, I really think that makes a big difference. And I can tell you that from experience because I've done hiring. And if you go to someone's website and it looks good and there's a nice picture of them there, looks professional, it's like, whoa, like that actually makes me want to hire this person more than just looking at their LinkedIn profile. Something to consider. If you're ready to finally get your life in line, and I'm not even talking to our listeners now, I'm just talking to the people here on this program. If you're ready to finally stop being a slacker and your initials are LW, head on over to squarespace.com/cultcast. Get signed up. It takes like 2 seconds. They don't even need your credit card information or anything. And just build a website. They make it really easy to try it and see if you'll like it. And after the 2-week trial, if you like what you have, you want to keep it, you can use code CultCast at checkout and save 10% off your first purchase. If you do a year of service like I do, you get an additional discount plus that discount code. So it's a really great value. Squarespace.com/cultcast and use code CultCast at checkout to save 10% off your first purchase. Lewis, do we want to tell the good people about our giveaway this week as well?
Sure, man. It's one day
As
ahead
long
of
as we're
Turkey
here?
Day.
Yeah.
Feels like Groundhog Day. That's right. Same exact giveaway as the last week.
Oh.
It's a Zugo iPad case giveaway. We're giving away 5. I know I talked about this last time. It's a great iPad case. It comes with adjustable kickstand built in and also a built-in Apple Pencil holder. The magnetic kickstand, extremely stable, gives you 8 different angles to set your iPad at, so you get the perfect angle for whatever you want to do. They're also, as I mentioned last week, incredibly protective. And in fact, the company offers a unique guarantee. Quote, this is from them. A quote from their website. If your iPad or screen gets damaged while in a Zugo case, Zugo covers Apple Care Plus repair costs so you can stress less and stream more.
That's pretty crazy. I've never heard of anyone doing that.
Still blown away by that guarantee. Zugo cases start at $49.99. They fit a wide array of iPads, come in 9 different colors. You win, you pick what you get. To enter, just go to the homepage, cultofmac.com, scroll down the giveaway, click there. I think you got a few more days. I know you got a few more days to enter. Only a few more, though. So don't dilly-dally, because this one's going to end.
Yeah, and
it's a pretty handsome-looking iPad case, too.
Yeah, it does look good. I like that gray one. And if you're in the U.S., you'll have... It's going to go by fast, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving. The day after that's Black Friday. And then Saturday, you're recovering from your overeating on Thursday. Takes 2 days. And then, boom, giveaway is over. So I'll put a link to this in the show notes. I'll also put it here in the chat. If you haven't entered, I always tell people, you got a chance. And for this one, it looks like you got a pretty good chance. So if you're interested, definitely go and register for that. All right, Lewis, let's do a couple more stories before we have you jump into our last spot here.
All right. Sounds good.
Let me talk about Sonos here. I love Sonos. It's too bad we don't have LK here, because no one has a bigger love affair with Sonos than LK. I mean, the guy's whole house is filled with Sonos stuff. And I thought this is a really interesting development. So Sonos is coming out with a bunch of new products that are going to compete directly with Apple. And as the story goes, I'm looking at Mac rumors here. Popular speaker company Sonos is planning to enter several new product markets that will see it competing with Apple devices. This is according to Bloomberg. They have a over-the-ear headphone that's coming out that is reportedly going to take on the AirPods Max, but I think it's going to be cheaper. And Apple hasn't updated their AirPods Max in quite a long time, and the next time they do, they'll probably just slop in USB-C and call it good. Hopefully lossless as well. Sonos plans to offer the headphones in black and white, and features will include voice control navigation, and synchronization with Sonos speakers, soundbars, and subwoofers. Sonos plans to price its over-the-ear headphones at $400 to $500, which is in line with AirPods Max, as well as headphones from Sony and Bose. Bloomberg suggests that Sonos isn't aiming to introduce a more technical feature set than Apple provides, with the company instead focusing on customization and fine-tuning sound with a Passport app. That'd be cool. Sonos has been working on the headphones for several years, and they are reportedly going to be available as early as 2024. And the company may also develop a set of earbuds that would be similar to AirPods. Now, for a lot of people, you may not care about the story, but if there's any company that I feel like could create the same level of audio experience, but also have the same software finesse that Apple has, where everything just works together, I think it's Sonos. In fact, I would say in some ways Sonos does it better than Apple does from a speaker perspective. So for that reason, I'm definitely interested to see what they're doing. But even more than the headphones, I thought what was more interesting is the report goes on to say that Sonos is going to introduce a set-top streaming box akin to Apple TV. The device will serve as a hub for Sonos audio equipment with Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision support. Now that's key, because that's one of the reasons I love the Apple TV is Dolby Atmos, Dolby Vision, but also you can use 2 HomePods as speakers, easily. But imagine being able to do that with Sonos speakers. That would be a pretty powerful feature and a reason to actually buy a Sonos streaming box and Sonos speakers all around your house. Sonos is developing new amplifiers and in-ceiling speakers for professional installers. Okay, well, we don't care about any of this stuff. A high-end TV soundbar. That will be an update to the Arc. Okay, well, that's definitely interesting. And Sonos is developing a new version of the Sub that will sync with the planned set-top box. See? There you go. Along with an updated Roam speaker. So if you could have all that stuff work with your TV and also work for music, that's the magic of the Apple TV, is being able to use your HomePods as your TV speakers and then also as music speakers. That's one of the reasons why I have them and one of the reasons why I love them. So pretty interesting development there that Sonos is planning on taking on Apple in some more of the acoustic realm, not just smart speakers. Let's see here. We're just cruising through this, which is great because we have an all-new under review coming up really soon. And I gotta be walking out the door in probably 20 minutes. So let's do this, Lewis. Let's do this Apple CEO succession plan story with TC. TC opening up about the future of an Apple without him. And this is a very unusual interview for him. And then we'll do the spot, and then we'll do under review. How's that sound?
Alrighty.
We probably should have planned this out before we started doing the show. But you know what? We like to do it live. So that's fine.
Funny, I was all prepared to do the spot, and then I forgot that I didn't type it into the show notes.
Yeah, I didn't see it anywhere, so I was like...
almost like I'm stupid.
So I was going to remind you, just in case you had forgotten about that.
Yeah, so the headline on this is Apple CEO succession plans are, quote, very detailed, says Tim Cook. And this revelation came in a 45-minute interview that he did with Dua Lipa on a BBC Sounds podcast called Dua Lipa at Your Service.
Is that someone that you know who she... Does anyone know who she is? I've never even heard of her.
Yeah, she's a singer.
Dua Lipa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've actually heard of her, you know, and I'm not even... I don't exactly have my finger on the pulse of modern music. But,
you don't? I don't believe you.
I mean, if you mean by 1970, yeah, for sure. Let's see. So in this interview, Cook admitted that he does not know how long he will remain at Apple. I love it, he said. I love it. He loves working at Apple. He says, I can't envision my life without being there, so I'll be there for a while. However, when asked if there was a succession plan at Apple, he said, quote, we're a company that believes in working on succession plans, so we have a very detailed succession plans. Because something unpredictable can always happen. I could step off the wrong curb tomorrow. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I pray that it doesn't. And so Dua Lipa asked him, okay, well, who? Can you tell us who's in line? And you won't believe this, but Tim says, I can't say that. But I would say that my job is to prepare several people for the ability to succeed. And I really want the person to come from within Apple, the next CEO. So that's my role. That's where, that there's several for the board to pick from. So that's kind of interesting.
He's working on it.
It's kind of a wild thing to say. Like, hey, I want to pick from within, and hey, who's up for the job? Who can handle this? Who can take over this mantle? I suppose if you worked at Apple, you probably hope that that's the situation anyway. But I mean, it makes you wonder, like, who's on that list, right? Who's on Tim Cook's short list?
That's what I was thinking,
I can't imagine just kicking out the CEO and having nobody's no solid plan on who to replace.
Well, kicking out. Can't imagine him getting kicked out.
I mean, it sounds like he's there for as long as he wants to be.
He seems like he's in good shape.
Dude, the guy, he looks like he's totally shredded now.
Yeah.
He must be on that...
firing on all cylinders. I think about the people that you see on the, the Apple events. It's like, and people have talked about maybe Jeff Williams, right? COO Jeff Williams. Maybe. I mean, he seems like he's smart. But he also kind of has that Tim Cook, like, I'm not all that comfortable on camera thing going. I don't know. Both of them seem maybe a little too geeky, a little too awkward. I'd like to see somebody like Craig Federighi in there, because I love
that's the dream.
He's
right
got
there.
the swagger. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and I think it'd also be pretty awesome to have somebody who's that into software running the company. And I mean, because to be honest, I think that Apple's hardware is fantastic. I think Apple's software is good, but could use a little bit of help. Things like Siri. Put the guy who runs Siri in charge of it. I don't think so. But if you had somebody like Federighi who's deep into the software and knows how these things work, I mean, I don't know. He probably has a hell of a lot of influence there anyway. But maybe their software would be just a little bit less buggy, a little bit better. And their software is so ambitious that it is. I mean, I realize that what they're trying to do is difficult. Make all these things work together exactly how you want them to work every time. But I don't know. I would love to see him in that role because I think he's a great spokesperson, and I think that his software knowledge could be super, super helpful. Although, on the other hand, maybe if he was CEO, maybe the software would get worse because he wouldn't have as much time to focus on it. Who knows?
Man. I mean, you can always find people who are really talented in software. But I think Craig Federighi, this is so in the weeds. I can't believe we're talking about this. He's the perfect mix, right? It's like Steve Jobs says, Apple is the company where technology meets art, right? Like a blend of those two things together. Craig Federighi, he's got the tech background, but more than that, he's got the look, man. He's just got the look.
You're so superficial.
exemplifies. He exemplifies. He is an exemplar of what Apple is going for. He is a mixture of technology and art. That hair is a piece of art. You know what I mean? I mean, guys his age never have hair like that. That's like Kevin Bacon level hair. It's so rare. And it just is long and luscious. He's got the silver fox thing going, but he also has the tech background. I think he'd be a great fit, but I would also love to see somebody from the industrial design team take the mantle and steer Apple back in the direction of super focused on products that people are going to love. The problem is I think that a lot of people from the industrial design team are probably just too weird to take that role. They're super into design. They're kind of sheepish. They don't want to be on camera. And their tastes are so refined. They borderline esoteric. And I don't know if for that reason they would be a good fit to be leading the charge. And then plus like the weird sheepishness on stage might not be something that resonates with people. And whereas Craig, it's like you see Craig, you're like, I would hang out with Craig. Like I like Craig. He knows how to play guitar, right? It's like that Bill Clinton sax moment on Arsenio Hall. When you saw him playing electric guitar, you're like, he's got it all, man. He's got the look. He's got the knowledge. He's cool.
Super charismatic.
He's very charismatic, right? And even when his jokes don't work, they still kind of work. I think that's important for the keynotes. He doesn't have to feign passion like TC does on stage, where he gets that weird whisper.
He doesn't get that weird that weird Tim Cook look on his face, like I'm straining to be excited about this.
Pretending to actually care about anything and speak about things in an emotional way. So I think he'd be a great look, he would be a great look, but he'd also be a great option for CEO. I also thought this interview was really super interesting because, I mean, first of all, TC never does stuff like this, and it's such an unusual interview. It's not with the Wall Street Journal or some other tech journalist. It's with a singer. And a singer who, apparently she has a podcast. I never even heard of her. Some of you in the chat are saying you like her music. But she's also doing interviews with tech CEOs. Like, that's kind of an interesting mix. But she got him to open up and be natural. And normally when we see TC, he's in his prepared robotic state, right? Like, he's trying not to say the wrong thing. He doesn't want to make the stock drop. And he doesn't seem like he's actually relaxed. And for the first time, I think, ever, you can see him in his relaxed state, which is still, I would say his relaxed state is more like my nervous state. He's still a little stiff, and calculating. But he's still laughing at jokes and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see. I really can't believe we're talking about this. This is what I mean. I'm like, is this show approachable by normal people? There's no way. We're sitting here talking about such deep inside baseball. This is as inside as it gets. We're talking about who should replace the CEO of Apple and people within the company that normal people have no clue who they are and why we think they would be a good replacement for Tim Cook. Well, the other thing we didn't mention, and then we'll move on, is TC didn't say he was going to be leaving anytime soon. So he's prepping his the candidates he thinks would be good replacements. But he's going to stay there as long as he can. And he seems like he's in such good shape. I mean, the dude could probably be there for another 7 years. It wouldn't surprise me if he was there till he was 70. But what is he going to do after that? I don't know. I mean, Apple is his life. What else is TC going to do? I'd be curious to see.
Yeah, it's not like he's, limited. It doesn't get to travel and go see things. I mean,
yeah,
he's always jet setting around the world. I love watching him post pictures from all the different places. It's just like he just goes, he jets into town somewhere around the world and meets with top creative people who use Apple gear. I mean, I'm not saying he's got an easy job, but there's a lot of perks.
There's definitely a lot of perks, but it is his life. He gave up his life to care for Apple, which is pretty interesting and kind of unusual. Well, maybe not that unusual in the tech space, but it's not something I would want to do. If someone could say you could be CEO of Apple, but it's all you got to do, I don't think I would take that trade. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think that just the getting up at 3:30 a.m. to read my emails might be the
well,
the
hold
deal
on a
breaker
second.
for me.
He doesn't. Does he read his emails at 3:30? I thought he did that after he worked out.
Oh, maybe he gets up at 3:30.
He gets up at 3:30. He works out
at 4:45.
Yeah, 4:45 is when he's reading the emails. All right. We got 10 minutes left. Maybe a little.
Holy moly.
Maybe a little longer. Let's do a quick spot, and then let's do the all new under review because we are officially out of time. Take it away, Lewis. I don't even know who the spot's for.
You were just talking about how our podcast is perhaps a little esoteric. Well, finding great podcasts like this one can be difficult. You're always complaining about how Apple doesn't do much to promote podcasts or make them easy to discover. Well, Podurama does. It's an AI-powered podcast app. It makes it easy to find and organize podcasts. You can use Podurama's, and God, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right.
Podurama. It looks right to me.
They got a normal search function, where you type in a name of a thing, or you can ask an AI chatbot things like, show me some podcasts to improve my financial knowledge, or which podcasts can help me relax. The app is available on iOS, Mac, Android, Windows, and as a web app. You can sync your podcast across all these devices, whatever ones you use. Offers access to 30 million free podcasts. Also boasts advanced features like AI-generated chapters for long podcasts that help you identify and skip over the boring bits. Nobody'd ever need that kind of a thing on CultCast, right?
Well, it wouldn't cut anything out. It would
absolutely
be the same length.
Just one fascinating chapter after another. Some other features I mentioned: the cross-platform sync, audio controls that let you trim silence length and boost volume, automatically update your playlist across multiple things. You can use RSS and local files. You can organize all your podcasts. It also works with this would be a deal breaker if it didn't. It works with CarPlay. Let's see. I was going to say they've got. You can go to their website. It's podurama.com.
That's where I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're already on there. All right, good. They've got some deals right now. Some specials. I think it's like a 50% off on the premium version. It's a free app, okay? But if you want to take advantage of some of the premium features, it does cost I think it starts at 49 cents a month right now on sale, half price. And you can get a lifetime. You can get half off a lifetime or a 5-year plan, whatever. But the best thing to do is just go to podurama.com, give it a shot, download the app, see if you like it. If you like it, jump on some of these Black Friday deals before the prices go up.
Nice. 4.8 star rating out of 5 out of almost 4,000 reviews. This is so seriously needed. I mean, podcast discovery is abysmal on the podcast app. It's so bad. It just doesn't even exist. It's like Apple doesn't even care. It's so bizarre. It's the number one missing. I could do a whole episode just on that and tell a story. An argument I got into with their podcast guy on Twitter. It was mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. So if you're looking for a way to discover new podcasts with their AI-powered podcast app, that is interesting. Okay.
I mean, if you're already listening to the CultCast, I don't imagine what else you would need, but I suppose.
I mean, aside from more CultCast, we could just make the show. People always ask us to make the show longer. I'm like, longer? It's already like 2 hours.
Just listen to it at half speed.
Okay, let's go into a whole new under review. We talked about the products that we're using. Do you think we could do this in 6 minutes? Probably not.
Oh, my God.
No, there's no way. Let's just do it. And when we're done, I'll walk these sweet buns right out the door. Does anyone want to go first?
Sure.
Don't all raise your hand at the same time.
Is a strong way of putting it.
I got a good one
Sure.
this week, but I'm going to save it because I want to see what you got first. Take it away, Griffin.
Okay, I am going to talk about a book. It is called The Apple II Age: How the
Man.
Computer Became Personal by Lane Nooney. This is, I don't know how many pages it is, about 300 or so. It tells the story of the Apple II. So it starts with like giving a cursory history of computers after World War II, leading up to the personal computer. It goes into a lot about how early computer hobbyists came from like ham radio enthusiasts. It goes into like the various forces that led to the founding of Apple and the tech industry. Spoiler alert, it's a lot of privileged white guys with social and economic mobility. And that's just the first two chapters. It goes into like the meat of it is how the Apple II was designed, the various reasons it was such a success in the computer industry. And there's a lot of like modern parallelism because a lot of the things that made the Apple II successful was that it went all in on, a floppy disk based software, which made it easy for people to write software, easy for independent people to learn how to code and distribute their own software. There are a lot of parallels you can make to the App Store there. And it tells the story of the Apple II's life through some of its most significant software titles like VisiCalc, games that were made by Sierra Online, creative apps like the Print Shop, and education titles. Of course, Apple, had all these programs that made it easy for schools to buy Apple IIs, and so they sold a bunch of them there. It was the Apple II was like a killer app in the business world for having the first like modern day spreadsheeting software. So it's a good book.
Can you hold it up? Yeah, that's a great cover.
Yeah. Great cover art.
I love that cover. Yeah, it looks so good.
It has like incredibly thorough footnotes and a bibliography and extra details if you want to, take your time reading it and absorb in all of the facts. It's like incredibly thoroughly researched. I'll have a link in the show notes where you can find it and buy it.
Nice. Yeah, definitely give me the link. I'll include that. Okay. I wasn't expecting a book. That might be the first book that we have talked about on the show, aside from the books that Leander tries to sell.
Oh, it's a good one.
And the one that Johnny Ive created, which I totally should have bought. I'm smacking myself for not buying that because I'm sure you guys, we talked about this in a prior episode, didn't we? Like, they sold that Apple product book and everyone scoffed at the price, and now they've like tripled, quadrupled in price and are these priceless artifacts that you have to pay tons of money for online now.
Another missed opportunity.
God, I know. So many missed opportunities. It's the story of my life, Lewis. One missed opportunity after another. If I had bought enough of those books, I wouldn't have to spend my time here on this program with you guys talking about Apple CEOs. I could have been somebody, Lewis. I could have been somebody. All right, look, I don't know what Lewis has, but it probably is going to be more excited than mine. But you know what? I was scratching my head. I was like, what can I talk about this week? And then I realized I bought this product on Amazon, and I have been loving it. And I've been using it constantly, and it really has changed the way I interact with my iPhone, my iPad, and it's cheap, okay? And I'll link to this in the show notes, of course. So it is a USB-C cable. Now, before you're like, dude, come on. Are you really trying to talk to me about a USB-C cable? But I got tired of USB-C cables that had just a regular plug with the cable sticking straight out. It always gets in the way. It gets in the way when I'm using my car holder or putting my phone in my car holder in my car. It gets in the way when I'm using my my MagSafe iPhone stand on my desk because the cable like hangs off the bottom and presses into my desk. So I got a cable that is a right angle cable. Now that's not all this does, okay? That's not the only reason I'm pitching this. It also shows you the current wattage being delivered to your iPhone, which is so useful. So here it is. I'm going to show this to you guys. Can I get it to
Sure
focus?
you are. Oh, it's made by blurry.com.
So there you go.
There we go.
You can see it, right? So it's right angle, so it tucks in tight beneath your iPhone.
It's alternating between 0, 1, and 2 right now.
Yes, which, that's how I know that my phone has reached an 80% charge state. So it slows down. and it goes between 0 and 1. Why can't I get this thing to freaking focus? Let's see if that works. Sorry, I know this is blurry. I'm trying to fix it. There you go. Yeah, so as soon as I see it start slowing down, I know that it's reaching its maximum charge state. In this case, it's 80%. But I also know, is it going to refocus on my face?
No.
There we go.
Very appropriate for Turkey Day.
Gobble, gobble, y'all. But when I plug the phone in, I can tell how much watts are being delivered from the charger or from my computer or from anything. So I'll know about how long it's going to take to charge my phone. So like when I plug my phone into my computer, it charges at 7 watts. And I'm like, well, that's going to be way too slow. But if I buy a new charger that says it's capable of fast charging and it's only charging at 11 watts, I know that's bogus and I need to return that crappy charger to Amazon. But I got another charger from Amazon. I plug it in, boom, it's charging at 22 watts. And I'm like, there you go, baby. That's the watts I was looking for. It's super useful information. By seeing the watts, you can tell about how long it's going to take to charge your phone. You can tell if your phone is almost charged. And by the way, this cable works for your Mac. It works for your iPad. It works for anything that has a USB-C port. So being able to see the wattage, it's just like this bit of information that I never had access to before. And now that I do, I don't think I could ever go back because it's so useful to see how much wattage is being delivered to my device, if it's enough, if my device is almost charged, if the charger is actually delivering as much as I need. So a small little thing, and this I got a 2-pack of these cables on Amazon for I think like $14. So they're pretty inexpensive. It's also a great cable. Like it's actually really quite flexible. And a lot of cables that you get on Amazon are just cheap garbage and they're not very flexible or bendable. Like this cable is great. It's like one of my favorite things that I've bought in the last several months. So I will post a link in the show notes if you guys are interested. I'll probably put an affiliate link in there. So if you guys buy them like in droves, I might make a few bucks, just FYI. That's not why I'm telling you about the cable. I don't desperately need like the $50 that I might earn. But I might as well, if you guys like it, I might as well earn a few bucks because it doesn't cost you anything extra. So I actually don't know the name of the brand. It's one of those.
Oh, great.
It's one of those Amazon brands, you know, it's like shoe fry, you know, it's like so they just literally.
And the good news is your house hasn't burned down yet.
They use like the rapper name generator like Childish Gambino did to like just create a name. But this is the genius of Amazon is it allows people who don't have a brand to put products on Amazon and Amazon is the only platform that I know of where people are willing to buy something with no reviews from a brand they never heard of. Because they know if they don't like it, Amazon will take it back for literally any reason. And if you buy something from Amazon right now, you don't have to return it till January 31st. You get to use it for months. So there's literally no reason to try stuff, not to at least try. And that's how these companies are able to like build their nascent brands on Amazon. It's such genius actually, because then you don't have like these big major brands like that charge you $40 for one USB-C cable. Like if this case had a brand name attached, it would be $25. But you can get a 2-pack for like $13 or $14 on Amazon. It's a great price. And from what I've seen so far, like they're outstanding cables with all these extra features built in. No one cares about cables. I realize that. I realize that I put half of you to sleep.
Hey,
but for the hardcore
tech
tech
bros,
bros,
cables until they hear about somebody who has a really great iPhone cable.
There you go. That's it. And this is the one. This is the one that Morpheus has been waiting for.
I can't wait till the mystery of the brand is revealed. The show
well,
notes.
I promise you it will be, even when I tell you, you still won't remember. It's some brand that you've never heard of. Yeah. It's just vowels and consonants smashed together in a random order. All right, Luce, tell me. This will be truly embarrassing for you. Do you have something that can beat a cable? I hope so. If not...
This is sort of the opposite of that. It's not a no-name brand. It's a fantastic brand.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Does it sound like a German company? This is something that sounds like it's from a German company, but secretly
not at all.
Okay, never mind.
This is a bag.
Huh.
A bag from Waterfield. Are you familiar with Waterfield? Waterfield Designs.
Yeah.
San
I've heard
Francisco.
of them.
They make honestly the finest gear that I have ever laid hands on that's made for hauling your Apple hardware around, right? This is the I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this actually show up. This is the can you see it? Oh my God, I need a bigger camera.
Dude, that's a good looking bag.
It's a fine bag. It's called the X Air Duffel. It's hard for me to explain or to deal with this and the camera and everything. But so this is a bag that's made. It's made for. Put the thing down. It's made for your personal carry-on an airplane, right? A specific size to maximize, like to work with all the airlines, U.S. airlines anyway. And it slides under your seat, but it holds a massive amount of stuff. It's super lightweight. I got this review unit. I was actually, right before I was going to Italy, I'm like, hey, this sounds like a really nice bag to take. And she's like, hey, what, the person at Waterfield, the representative says, hey, well, what airline are you taking? I said, well, I'm taking TAP Air Portugal. She's like, oh, they're, some of these European airlines, their size limitations are very small. And of course, so I look at it, or she actually looked at it. She's, yeah, this is too big for their limitations, because they have honestly, their size limitation is 2 kilograms. That's 4 pounds. And I think 5 inches wide, right? This thing is a lot bigger than that. It's like, I wish I had the actual dimensions. But she goes, well, if you squish it down and so I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I squished the thing down, made it basically the size of a laptop bag. And I was able to get it through this, super rigorous under seat thing, with this airline that doesn't want you to carry on anything. I mean, what they want to do is ding you for over, oh, your bag weighs too much or is too big or whatever. Anyway, so the good thing about this is once I got it there, I was able to open it up, and it holds a whole lot of stuff. I was constantly stuffing in, like everybody in our party. I was putting all their coats in my bag and stuff. So it was awesome. It's on one side, it flips out. It's got got room for a MacBook in a padded sleeve on the outside. It's got room for an iPad in the inside of the thing, and it's got pockets for your cables and everything like that. You zip that up. They call it like your office space, right? And then on the inside, it's got room for several days' clothes, shoes, whatever. Pockets once again that hold whatever you got to stick in there, your toiletries or whatever. On the outside, those big, what are they called? The quick access pockets. I don't know if you can see these, but so can you see these, the little latches on here?
Yeah, man, I'm showing pictures from the website too.
Are you familiar with this kind of thing? It's called a fidlock closure. I had never heard of this before. And in fact, I stood there like a moron, like trying for a while, because is this thing broken? Do I not? It's hard to explain. You have to slide them. You slide them out, right? Left to right.
Yeah.
And then to reattach it, you just put it close, and it snaps right in place.
Oh.
I had never heard of this type of closure. I'm not kidding. I actually was puzzled by it for a moment. And then I'm like, wow, that is genius. And as I use this thing, carrying this thing around Italy, I just constantly was like, wow, that is nice. That is fantastic. It's made out of this stuff called X-Pack. X-Pack. It's waterproof or water resistant. It's got full grain leather accents. This stuff is it's weird. It's very lightweight, but it feels like ripstop kind of a thing. And it despite being so light, it still maintains its sort of, its shape, right? It doesn't, even though I squished it down like that, it pops back into shape and works great. It's got long handles with leather things on them. They're very good. It's also got a really awesome, which I love, shoulder strap that you can put on with these super heavy duty D-ring things. And every part of this is quality. The way that you attach the shoulder strap on there is just everything about it is premium. It's metal, it's precision made. It's like, dare I say it, it's like the feeling you get using Apple devices, right? Like they didn't skimp out and put cheap plastic things on here. It's just all well thought out and made to make this bag very, very, very pleasant bag to carry around. It's got giant expandable things on the side pockets where you can put a water bottle or glasses or whatever you want. It's got a thing on the back where you can stick a newspaper, magazine, book, whatever. It's of course got the little thing where you can put the handle of your wheelie bag through it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
Everything about this bag is just premium, right? It's crazy. I mean, I as I was going around, driving around, traveling around by train or stuff, we just kept going. I kept saying to the people I was traveling with, like, God, this is a nice bag. Like everything about it is nice, And if somebody would say like, oh well, does it have this? Oh, yeah, it's got that. Or oh, it ought to have this. That that would make it a little bit better. No, it actually has that. Everything about it, like it just seems like everything is well thought out. The interior, just like all Waterfield bags. Well, I don't know about all, but many of them has this really cool kind of gold-colored interior that makes it easy to see stuff even in the dark. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times you look in your bag, it's like impossible to see, right? Well, they use a light color, really heavy-duty lining that makes it easy to find stuff. Anyway, I've talked enough about a bag.
Holy cow! Yeah, you've been going on about this bag for 10 minutes. I feel like you're about to start crying.
Has it been 10 minutes? Has it been 10 minutes?
Honestly, Lewis, you love this bag. Lewis loves the bag.
I do. I mean, I own another Waterfield bag that it's just it holds up and it's fantastic. This is the first one that they've made out of this X-Pack line. Usually they're made out of leather or waxed canvas. This is their new lightweight design for travel kind of thing. They make a ton of stuff that's all designed for Apple stuff. They even made like a AirPod Max case a while back. They are way into Apple gear, and they make everything. Every time there's a new Apple product, they come out with a new way to carry it around in style. The only thing I don't like as a cheapskate is the price, because these are made in San Francisco. They're definitely high end. This bag, I mean, lists for $459. $459.
Not cheap, but quality doesn't come cheap.
Right. It's not going to wear out.
People pay that much for a T-shirt from Patagonia.
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't pay that much for anything, but I'm also famous for having suitcases that I buy, cheap ones, and they break. Yeah. Things like that break. If you invest in a quality piece of what do you call it? A quality bag, like anything I've seen from Waterfield is quality. You invest in something like that, it's going to last. It's not going to, tear. It's not going to stretch out. It's not going to get frayed around the edges. And there's something really, really satisfying about that.
Yeah, I like paying once and getting a good piece of equipment and not having to buy it 3 or 4 different times. So I'm willing to splurge on little things here and there. And if bags are important to you, especially if you're traveling a lot, this might be something that you're interested in. So this is the X Air duffel bag from Waterfield. I guess they're just called Waterfield. Made in San Francisco. Made by San Franciscan hands.
sfbags.com is their website.
All right, cool. And I'll put a link to this in the show notes if you want to check it out. 'Tis the season to buy yourself or other people expensive bags. Am I right?
It's funny. I went to their website. I was looking to see if they had Black Friday sales. I don't think they do.
Well, it's not Black Friday yet, Lewis. Let's
I don't know if they discount their stuff.
Let's give them a couple days and maybe they'll do it.
All right, we'll see.
We'll see what happens. But we got to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have time for you guys this week. And if I don't keep the music on, Lewis is going to spend another 15 minutes talking about this bag. He's getting emotional and he's about to start tearing up live on the air here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it.
That thing.
Actually, it looks like it could hold a whole Thanksgiving meal. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. The party continues on the new X. I'm at Airfon, ERFWin. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. You could also just Google Griffin or D. Griffin Jones. Just Google that. See what comes up. I don't even know. It might be Mastodon. Who knows what will come up?
Could be terrifying.
Could be a fun experiment. I want to thank everyone for listening and for hanging out live. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I wish you all a very happy gobble gobble, y'all. And we'll see you guys. Where's my end button? There it is. Next time. Oh, what I wouldn't do to be at TC's this holiday weekend. He's coming to full. I mean, the turkey will be made from plant ingredients. The Topher meat, right? It's like a big gelatinous ball in the shape of actual turkey. No, there's no way. I mean, that guy with the lbs he's packing, he's got to be eating like 100 or 200 grams of protein a day. He probably has a pull-up bar in his office. All right, everyone. Time to stop the stream. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Talk to you next time. Bye, y'all.